here. So we have the new Oops All Spells being played by Pinecone, and then we also have Black Sky Doc running tried and tested Doomsday here. And Black Sky Doc's been on an absolute tear, just crushing events back to back all the time. Just this is his second time making the top 4 of the league in a row with basically the same deck. He's very, very good at piloting it.
Oh, absolutely. Like you had said, we've seen him just tear through everything. If you go and check out our Discord over in the Hall of Champions, his name will not be missing. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So it should be really good from there. So we got as well Pinecone on the new All Spell. So both of these are very blisteringly fast combo decks.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
It should be exciting for sure.
And just, for anyone who's just joining us for the first time, my name is Ivan Luz. This is PresBOTW, my boy up above. Like you said, we are the MTG Paper Legacy Discord, and here we are to play some webcam magic.
Yep. So yeah, and again, this is the league finals. Both of these players have been working really hard to try and get here, fighting through a ton of people. Like, I know Black Sky Doc was even in my pool. Ooh, that's some pretty rough glare there.
Yes, and for anyone who can't see here, it looks like there's a fetching of a Misty into an Underground Sea. Also our good buddy and fellow mod, Chaotic Bear, is table spotting for us today, so we'll be able to get you any information that may be not very obvious at first.
Yeah, and also big shout out as well to Mick Diff, one of our newer mods, and they've been they're streaming for us tonight, and it'll be a really good time here. So
absolutely, yeah. Shout outs to Mike. Thanks for hosting us tonight, man.
Yep. So I can finally see what that card is. It's a Ponder. So we're getting a Ponder. It looks like we're keeping and drawing a card. And then
always what you want to see with a Ponder there.
Yeah, passing it back. So Pinecone's going to start off. So the interesting thing is Oops All Spells as a deck is a deck that was designed with no lands in it. Completely no lands. So technically speaking, it's still not playing lands, even though it is. So in this case, as you can see here, the MDFC cards from the new Zendikar Rising set are one of the things that they're playing in order to try and get mana out now. So it's a permanent base source of mana, because beforehand it would always have to run on either a Chrome Mox or a Lotus Petal.
Right.
Whereas now it can actually play a land source that's not going to screw up with the combo.
Absolutely. And it looks like, which one is that there? Are we seeing? Was that a Seagate Restoration?
Restoration? Yeah, so that's the big blue one there. So he plays that one out, paid the 3 life in order for having it come in untapped and then cast a Preordain. So Pinecone will be down to 17 there.
And it looks like there was a scribe 1 to the bottom and 1 to the top, so not the worst thing Pinecone could see there.
Yeah. And yeah, Tensai, good point there in the chat. Yeah, this is a Thassa's Oracle grudge match.
Yeah, you can see the power of that one individual card and how pervasive it has become in Legacy in recent times. So yeah, very cool stuff.
Yeah. Feels a tad bit unfortunate to just lose the game all of a sudden, but you know.
Well, but if you're me, you routinely lose the game.
Not that bad, Ivan. Are we getting what appears to be a duress or a Thoughtseize there?
Yeah, we have a Thoughtseize here.
Yeah, Thoughtseize on Pinecone. So
and Pinecone looks like he has a Thoughtseize of his own here.
Yeah. So super interestingly here, he's got 2 more of the MDFC lands. He also has the Balustrade Spy and the Undercity Informant. So he can go off here. But also, Black Sky did send me a message right before this, and one of his thoughts on the matchup was the card he is most scared of in this matchup is Pact of Negation.
Yes, and there it is in the hand.
Yeah, so that's one of the things where that is one of the few cards that can stop Black Sky because of the nature of how the deck works. But at the same time, I also understand this play here too, because what this is doing is turning him off of black mana.
Absolutely. I mean, if you can't play your win condition, well, then you're not really winning, are you?
Another one right off the top. Wow.
It certainly looks like it. Very good stuff here.
Yeah.
And that is the Agadim land, correct?
Yes.
Agadim's Awakening.
Yeah. And
Who
yeah,
is unfamiliar.
Pinecone will be at 14 here. Unless they thought season, in which case they'll be at 12.
Yes, which is, I mean, obviously, a fairly decent line, right? To be able to strip any sort of other interaction out of Black Sky Doc's hand and then just go, go, go.
Yeah, exactly. I also do like the leading with the Brainstorm here. Of note, though, Pinecone, as far as fetch lands are concerned, those Brainstorms don't have the shuffle effects built in, so you'll need something like a Ponder in order to clear those Brainstorm cards.
Absolutely.
So it looks like we're getting a Daze here on the Thoughtseize.
Oh, that's very good stuff. Not only does Black Sky Doc get to protect their own combo pieces, but protect information, right? Any sort of permission on the other side. So now that Pinecone, of note, has used that Brainstorm, he's not going to be able to protect his hand from another Thoughtseize or Duress now.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing too, though, as well as that, like, historically as well, Oops All Spells has never been able to really play much for interaction or cantrips or anything like that, because it was very similar to the old Belcher deck, where it was very all-in blisteringly fast combo, full of Spirit Guides and rituals galore, everything like that, and it used to win via Lab Maniac, Angel of Glory's Rise, and such like that. And now it's just running the Thassa's Oracle, and with the MDFC lands, it's switched over to just straight up blue-black now.
Yeah, it's looking a lot smoother, a lot leaner. And as I had mentioned before, now we do get a Duress from Black Sky Doc, and once again, Pinecone not having that Brainstorm. Well, actually, I mean, technically having another Brainstorm, but not having an available Brainstorm to be able to hide anything.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing of note here that I never even thought of until now is that if he takes Seagate Restoration here, he's actually duressing the mana away.
Yes.
Like, you're actually, you can Thoughtseize and duress the lands in the Oops All Spells deck now.
Yeah, it's quite brutal, right? I mean, it's definitely a double-edged sword. You're able to have these lands, like you had said, that don't interfere with the combo and break it up. Yeah. But it does open you to hand disruption in terms of, like, your land. It's almost like how people talk about Hymn to Torak being a sort of pseudo sinkhole, right? For lands.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it looks like, in this case, Black Sky Doc's actually going to take the land here.
Yeah, really good call, I think.
Yeah. So we're getting a black there into a dark ritual. Okay, so this is probably going to cast, provided that this resolves. We'll see if he's going to tap here. So this is an Undercity Informant here. I actually like the Undercity Informant more than the Balustrade Spy here, just by virtue of you can wait to fire it off, so to say.
Yes. Get more information, make it on your own terms. So we are seeing a Force of Will on this informant.
We're going all in right now. So here comes the Pact of Negation right now. So Force of Will gets countered, so Pinecone must win this turn, because there is no way to pay for that Pact of Negation.
Yes,
so for anyone who is... anyone who has never seen how this deck works, what this card does, Undercity Informant, is it's 3 mana, you pay 1 and sacrifice a creature, and you reveal cards from the top of your library until you hit a land card. Put all cards revealed this way into your graveyard, and then put the land onto the battlefield. So because Oops All Spells, using the MDFC cards, technically is not playing lands, it will always mill the entire deck every time.
Yes, and as you can see, also anyone who's unfamiliar with Narcomoeba will know that whenever Narcomoeba is put into the graveyard from your library, it has a trigger that you can put it into play.
Yeah, exactly. And
Charbel in chat points out if he dazes here, this is going to feel so bad. Yeah, absolutely.
Looks like he's actually doing a flashback Cabal therapy first, and yeah, he's just conceding the game.
All right, so that's going to be it. Pinecone takes it down, game 1.
Yeah, for sure. So in terms of sideboard, very, very fast game 1. But again, that's kind of how this deck is supposed to go, right? Both these decks are able to win on turn 1 or turn 2. They're extremely, extremely fast decks.
Yeah, they definitely allow you to get in lots of games as well, right? So lots of practice as well, which is very cool.
Yeah, for sure. So, as far as sideboards go, on Black Sky's side, we have 2 Carpet of Flowers, 1 Fatal Push, 2 copies of Flusterstorm, 1 Grafdigger's Cage, 3 Veil of Summer, 2 Abrupt Decay, 2 Defense Grid, 1 Liliana of the Last Hope, and 1 Massacre.
Yeah, well, it was Black Sky Doc actually gave us a bit of a write up, right? A little bit of a heads up on the insight on the way he boards. And in this matchup specifically, he wants to bring in the more of the permission, right? Like the Fluster Storms, and obviously the 1 Grafdigger's Cage is going to be huge, at stopping the Dread Return on Thassa's Oracle. So I think those are obviously coming in. Was there anything else that he may have mentioned?
He also wants to bring in Veil of Summer and Grafdigger's Cage, which
Yes.
I totally understand. And at the same time, I think that because that both these decks are blisteringly fast combo decks, you have to focus on the spell aspect of it, trying to deal with what Pinecone could potentially board into in terms of additional creatures. I think is probably not what Pinecone wants to be doing, because again, you're playing against a deck that's able to combo kill you on turn 2. So it's kind of
right. So we're thinking most of this is going to be leveraging on the stack then, right? And I mean, so in that case, what better card to leverage, your advantage on the stack than Veil of Summer?
Yeah, exactly. So on that note, Pinecone's sideboard, Pinecone's sideboard here. We got 2 Chain of Vapor, 1 Echoing Truth, 1 Goblin Charbelcher, which I love, 3 Leyline of Sanctity, 4 Pack Rat, and 4 Surgical Extraction.
Yes. I just off the top of my head, I do think that Leyline of Sanctity could be very good, right? With all of the main deck hand disruption that Black Sky Doc has, right? And Thoughtseize, Cabal Therapy, Duress, all of that black hand disruption. I mean, that Leyline of Sanctity pretty much handily takes care of that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Not being able to be targeted.
Yeah, I think you're on the right path there, Ivan, with that. I think that's probably the right thing to do. Especially because in Black Sky's case, they're probably going to board out a lot of the removal just because that, again, the only creatures you really care about are... And I was actually thinking about this. There is 1 Fatal Push in Black Sky's sideboard. If it's a scenario like last game where they go off and they have exactly 4 Narcomoebas left, if you were to actually kill one of the Narcomoebas with a Fatal Push in response to a Cabal Therapy, they only have 2 creatures left and then they can't flashback Dread Return.
That's really, really heads up play. I hadn't even thought about that, right? And it's not like a traditional, like a dredge deck, right? Where you're going to get value off of these Cabal Therapies.
Yeah,
with,
there is no bridge from below.
Bridge from below, right? Very, very smart.
Yeah.
All right, so it looks like we are getting ready to head right into the next match then, or the next game then.
Next game, yeah. So this is going to be interesting. And again, this first match is going to definitely be the faster of all the matches we have tonight. The other side of the bracket is definitely fast, but it's not as fast as this one is. Both turn 1, turn 2 combo decks here.
Yeah, no, this is sort of the stereotype of Legacy that the most uninformed people think when they hear about Legacy, right? They think, well, it's just oops all spells, or it's just Doomsday, right?
Goblin Charbelcher.
Right. And I mean, granted, these decks definitely have some game, and obviously the pilots behind them deserve to be here. So it's obviously not just the deck, but
exactly.
Yes, these are your stereotypical, fast Legacy decks.
Yeah, and Jack Duholm there in chat. Yeah, that is a good point. I think that having the bridge from below might be good there, but in this particular case, Pinecone does not have it in their list.
Yeah, I think it would be worth it to speak to him and see the reasoning behind those choices for sure.
Yeah, and another thing of note as well, this is open deck list. The league finals is open deck list, so Black Sky knows every single card in Pinecone's deck, and Pinecone knows every single card in Black Sky's deck.
Yep.
So they get to make super, super informed decisions, have lots of time to prepare, so should be excellent matches of Magic. So...
Oh yeah, absolutely. That interaction though, right? I mean, once again, people, may think that these are just turn 1 decks and you can't do anything to stop them. But we saw just the amount of hand disruption and permission in those very early turns. I mean, it's really, really intricate magic, even though it all happens very quickly.
Yeah, for sure. And looks like we're getting a Tournament Thoughtseize from Black Sky here. Interesting. So on a mulligan to 6 here, of note, you have one MDFC card with Agadim Awakening, and then everything else is one-shot mana or a cantrip.
Yeah, I mean, not a bad hand to keep, right? I mean, being able
On
to
6, I like
sculpt
that
your
for
hand.
sure. Well, especially
Yeah.
with the Dark Ritual and the Cabal Ritual as well, because if you draw a Balustrade Spy, you just win. But I definitely agree with taking the Agadim.
Oh, I agree with that as well. CS Magic Altars, hey, welcome to the stream. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you for hanging out, yeah.
Really appreciate you.
Yep. Oh, so this is rough. So we're going to use a Lotus Petal to cantrip here.
Yeah, and I mean, that was
shuffle.
why...
Oof.
Yikes. That's why Black Sky took that that land, right? I mean,
yeah.
Being able to get rid of the reusable mana source is obviously going to be clutch.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, no, it'll be good. And these players have both been waiting patiently to get this league over with here. We had the Invitational last weekend, which was a fantastic time.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I know Black Sky was right on the cusp of making it into that, so...
Yeah, and I mean, if you're interested, you can always go to our YouTube page, MTG Paper Legacy on YouTube, and you can actually check those VODs out there.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like we're just going to get a Ponder Shuffle from Black Sky here. So Scarecrow, the next league, registration will be opening up either tonight or tomorrow morning, and then you have a week to register. The November league, we will start playing on November 3rd, I believe.
Awesome.
So, Charble, yeah. Yeah, it probably would have been pretty unbalanced there, I think. Congratulations on winning the Invitational too, by the way. That was very well fought and very well played.
Yeah, amazing stuff, Charble.
Yeah. So we did actually see Pinecone get one of the MDFC lands there. Comes in tapped last turn, and then it looks like we just had Black Sky play 2 lands over the past 2 turns and pass both times. So I think both players are just kind of sitting on resources here, waiting either for the other to make a move or to draw something relevant.
I think that's exactly what it is, yeah. They're just sort of both trying to play the control game, it looks like, at this point.
Yeah. That good, eh, Charble?
Wow. Don't worry, we won't tell anybody.
Yeah. So we're probably getting the Duress here.
Yep, we see another Duress.
Yeah. So of note, Duress cannot take the Thassa's Oracle here, not that you'd want to anyway. Because with the Thassa's Oracle in hand, what that means is Pinecone has to cast it.
That's correct.
He cannot reanimate it from his graveyard.
You know, and strangely enough, with this deck, that's actually more likely, right? It's more likely to be reanimated than it is to be hardcast.
Exactly, and I actually kind of like taking the Brainstorm here, just because the Brainstorm will allow Pinecone to put the Thassa's Oracle back on top of the deck.
Yes.
I totally understand taking the Force of Will as well, but at the same time, I actually do like taking the Brainstorm here, just because being able, stranding it in Pinecone's hand is really good. And yeah, it looks like Black Sky's got the same line of thought I do there.
Absolutely, because there's also a Preordain in hand, right? Pinecone could actually scry it to the bottom.
Yeah. Oh, exactly, yeah. Yeah, Brainstorm, put it down there, and then get rid of it that way, yeah. So Pinecone's probably looking desperately for another blue source here. Because of note, though, if Pinecone gets a Lotus Petal and also a Balustrade Spy, he has enough rituals in hand off that black source to be able to just go off from there. And then using the Lotus Petal and the blue land he has, he'll be able to cast the Thassa's Oracle. And he also still does have a Pact of Negation and a Force of Will in hand to protect the combo.
Very true. And let's also not forget that there is the Cabal Therapy and the 2 Thoughtseize over in Pinecone's deck. So that can also, he can discard his own Thassa's Oracle through those if he needs to as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just in case he really wants it in the bin.
Yeah. That is true, actually. Because when he mills the whole deck over, he could just hit the Cabal Therapy, target himself, fast as Oracle, and then use the other 3 Narcomoebas to Dread Return it.
Yeah, if things can work out that way, right? I mean, that's the hope. That's one of those sort of strange lines you can find yourself in, yeah.
Or you could just discard Thassa's Oracle to hand size.
Right, exactly. Just build up your hand, get your rituals, get your permission, and discard the hand size. So it's pretty powerful. Ask any manaless dredge player; they'll tell you.
Yeah. Now, that being said, there are a lot of potential options here for what Black Sky could do, because a Grafdigger's Cage would just be absolutely backbreaking here.
Certainly.
As the Narcomoebas cannot come into play.
Yeah, and that's going to force Pinecone to use some sort of permission on it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just it, is that if Black Sky's able to cast a Grafdigger's Cage or Surgical on the Thassa's Oracle, then what can happen is that Pinecone will have to force it, and then if he has a Daze or something and is able to counter back, then what'll happen is that, well, I guess in this case a Daze won't cut it because he's got 2 mana untapped. But otherwise he'd be forced to fire off that Pact of Negation, and if Pinecone uses that Pact of Negation on Black Sky's turn, he's going to lose.
It's true, but I mean, as you can see, just in that specific interaction, you can see how these double-face lands are really important in the deck, just enabling you to have a sort of a stable mana base in such a degenerate deck. It's kind of incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, stable mana base, right?
Yeah,
but
exactly. I personally am not a fan myself, as the deck's still called Oops All Spells, but there's lands in it now.
Yeah. This feels a little bit like cheating, but hey, that's degenerate magic. That's good, clean, degenerate magic for you.
Yeah.
So we do have the Dark Rit.
Yeah, and of note here as well, that Dark Ritual gave him Threshold for Ball Ritual. So this is going to make 5 now.
Now we're seeing it.
So we're up to 6 black mana already. Also, Pinecone does have the blue untapped still. So here's the Cabal Therapy now. So he's going to check if the coast is clear.
All right, what are we gonna see here? Are we gonna see a permission, or is this gonna resolve? Mm-hmm.
Trying to think about what that card is that's in front of Black Sky's lands there. So we're getting a fetch, and then we're paying 3 here.
Thank you, Chaotic Bear. It is a Lotus Petal.
Gotcha. Okay. So we're getting a spell cast by Black Sky there, and Pinecone's actually firing off the Pact of Negation right now. Which I do like leading with the Pact here.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've already committed to the combo by casting the Ritual turn, so you gotta go all in. And I like starting with the Pact, because the Pact requires no additional resources from Pinecone.
Yeah, and once again, that Veil just has to be answered, right?
Yeah.
All right, Cabal Therapy looks like it named Force of Will.
Yeah, which is a fantastic name here for sure.
Certainly.
Because you're able to pay for Daze, which it does look like there is a Daze in hand. So we got Ritual, Daze, Brainstorm.
Lotus Petal, Flusterstorm.
Okay.
Wow, that is quite a stacked hand as well.
Yeah. So actually, that's kind of rough about the Flusterstorm. That's actually really rough about the Flusterstorm here, because Pinecone has to try and go off through this now. So the Undercity Informer there, and the other thing of note here too, is you can't flashback the Cabal Therapy with the Undercity Informer. You have to sack it to its own ability in order for it to mill.
That's true. Oh, yeah. And I mean, the Flusterstorm isn't going to do anything here, so.
No, but it will work on the Dread Return.
It certainly will. And so, yeah, how many spells have we played this turn, actually?
So we got Ritual, Pact, Cabal Therapy, Veil of Summer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then Undercity Informer 6.
Yeah, so I mean, it's very, very unlikely that Pinecone would be able to pay for a Flusterstorm.
No, and that's the other thing too, as well, is that this this Undercity Informer, with having the 2 mana open here, the Undercity Informer's able to you could just use one of the black mana to pay for days, and then use the other black mana to sack the Undercity Informer, and you still have a blue open.
Right. But it looks like Black Sky Doc is using the pedal to brainstorm, actually.
Oh, okay. I kind of like that because, yeah, Black Sky needs interaction here for sure. Otherwise, Pineco's is going to run him over this turn. Because that's the thing about Oops All Spells. The combo cannot fizzle. It is incapable of fizzling once it goes off. Ooh, so we're seeing a force here, exile a second Pact. So that tells me that Pinecone has no other blue cards in hand?
Yeah, I'm going to assume so.
Yeah. And looks like we're getting a scoop up there. And Pinecone wins 2-0. Wow, that was fast.
Oh yeah, super duper fast, right? And I mean, just those like I said, those level of interaction and these stack-based battles. I mean, it's one of the big things that people love about watching Legacy. So really, really cool showing here with these surprisingly super interactive combo decks.
Yeah, for sure. And I kind of agree with what Black Sky was saying beforehand too, where they kind of felt, generally favored in the matchup just because they have much more interaction than the Oops deck does. Plus, the recurability of it and actually playing lands goes a long way. Whereas in Pinecone's case, the mana base, while there, is still very unstable. However, the blistering speed of Oops All Spells, especially with these new cards coming out, is just really good. And the ability for it to play counter magic now, as opposed to in the days of old when it was relying on Wild Cantor and Manamorph to try and
like you said, much more like a traditional Belcher deck. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It was all in all the time.
So Left Coast, they both kept on 7 game 1, and they both kept on 6 game 2.
Yeah. Yeah, no, both very, very close games, very well played. Unfortunately, that's the end of the run of Black Sky Doc for this month, but still well played. The 2 leagues that Black Sky has also top 8'd both times or made playoffs for, he hasn't dropped a match.
Right.
He's completed his pool the whole time. But anyway, we'll be back shortly for round 2, which I personally am super, super excited for. There's a cool deck in that one, so.
Yeah, come on by. We'll be here, and we'll see you in just a minute, folks.
Yep. Thank you.